right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I say call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash. All right, that belongs to our apostles, taught us truth, peace, citation, to you elect. And in this truth of ours, I done met greatest men on the planet Earth. All right, but I've also met some of the worst demons. All right, in existence. Scripture tell you the kingdom of heaven is like matter of fact, how's it phrased? And the net is cast, and they gather good fish and bad. Fish that come into the net, all right. But you got a few good ones, all right. All right. So hey, y'all, Bashim Shabbat brother. Shock. Yeah, Bashim Shabbat. So the scriptures tell you the Harlots and Publicans go into the kingdom before some of you men that's in this truth. All right. Because look, man, a lot of these dudes in Israel, I'm just be straight as always. Look, a lot of these fucking dudes are weirdos, man. They don't, they're just strange, not in a good way, because the Lord, the scripture tell you his doctrine was strange onto the people. But I'm talking about a lot of these dudes, man. You get around them, they're supposed to be teachers of the scriptures. All right, they're supposed to be brothers. All right, but they act worse than these fucking people in the world. All right, see, there's a balance to everything. We understand there's agents and there's, you gotta be circumspect, but at the end of the day, you got dudes, they move in fucking fear, like you're gonna do something to them or some shit. Just to salute a brother or something like that. A lot of guys are not hospitable, man. They're not fucking brotherly like that. You know what I mean? So the thing is, you got a lot of fucking strange dudes, man. Like the scriptures tell you, if you're gonna enter into the kingdom, you gotta humble yourself as a little child. A little child, man, is very fucking hospitable, man. Very cool, smiling all the time. Yeah, brother. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. They want to play with you. They want to give you their toys and shit. Now the scriptures tell you, man, and understand and be men and malice be your children. So, when you come to this truth, man, and you just ain't right. I mean, it's really nothing that you can't really change. A lot of you dudes don't change, man. You just assholes in the world. You just assholes in the world. You come into this truth, become a bigger asshole. Like you don't have the disposition of a child, man. Not saying you're gonna be childish, but you're gonna have that spirit, that lively, joyful spirit. Hey, like this brother right here, man. This brother right here, bro. He told me he was a certain age, but I said I couldn't believe it through the spirit, man. I'm like, oh shit. But I thought bro was like my age and shit, because of the spirit, man. But like you watch the apostles, man, and they still got that lively, joyful spirit, man. They probably if you ran into them, you was like, hey, apostle, they'll salute you, man. Yeah, brother, But some of you dudes, you act like you're fucking Hollywood, man. See the theme of this lesson, man. All right, is about being down to earth, man. A lot of you fucking dudes ain't down to earth, man. You think you're holier than thou, and see, you be the worst fucking ones, man. You be the worst fucking ones. You think you so majestic. You know what I'm saying? You too cool to hang out with a brother, or whatever, or break bread, or oh, that brother can't get my number. You see this brother, he'd have proved himself, Fuck that. I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to give everybody your information, but I'm saying, bro, like, I remember one time, I ain't gonna mention dude's name. Whatever. I remember one time with the Business and Brothers, man. I'm like, yo, bro, let's take a picture, man. This dude, his brother was like, yeah, bro. Yeah. The dude was like, nah, we don't do that, man. We don't take pictures, man. And I go on this man's Instagram, he got pictures of all kind of people, man. So I'm like, bro, this dude's a fucking weirdo, man. But this is a guy who was like really high. This guy was like a real famous dude. You know, if I mention his name, you probably know what I'm talking about. But I ain't gonna bring him up. But through the spirit, man, I'm like, bro, I'm just remembering that came to mind because a lot of dudes act like that, man. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with this guy, man? You know, I'm like, well, what's up with this dude, man? Yeah, here it is. I travel all the way to fucking New York, man. You know, and I'm over there. You know, I wasn't there to see them brothers, but I was there taking care of some business. And you can't even take a picture with a brother, man. You know. See, so it's the little things, bro. It's the little things, Chico. You know, it's the little things, Chico, man. You know, it's the little things. So Matthew 13 and 45. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who when he had found one pearl of a great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that cast into the sea and gathered every kind of fish. All right, which when it was full, they drew away the shore and sat down and gathered the good in the vessels and cast away the bad. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angel shall come forth and sever the wicked from amongst the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire, the lake of fire. There shall be weeping, hailing, gnashing of teeth, wailing, gnashing of teeth. So, the harlots and the publicans go into the kingdom before a lot of you weird ass dudes, man. You know, you got a fucking dark ass countenance, man, a dark spirit, man. The Lloyd House Shah was an austere man as we are, man, but we got balance to this, man. We not just fucking assholes all day. You know, you see us cursing people out and rebuking them and this and that. But bro, we we ain't like that, man. You know, man, we ain't some fucking dickheads, man. You know, all right. So there's a balance to every fucking thing, man. All right. Matthew 21 and we're all like different, you know, Michael or something. Me. Can't, you know, be a father, and Yeah, Salaki, man. Salaki, bro. Yeah, now I think it's better. I had to switch my phone. These fucking iPhones, bro. I'll tell you, this is why I don't fuck with them. Hey, man, but anyways, like I was saying, man, like the brother said right here, yeah, kind of all puffed up, you know. Shout out, brothers be acting for the camera. Yeah, man, a lot of dudes are actors, man. A lot of dudes are actors, bro. You know, a lot of dudes are not really down to earth, bro. They don't really have the fruits of the spirit. You know, the scriptures tell you that do all their works to be seen in men. John the 12th chapter, man. If you met some of these dudes in real life, bro, they wouldn't give a fuck about you. They would, who is this? It's supposed to be fishing for the elect. It's supposed to be brothers, leaders, the flock. This is why the Lord men crept. All these fucking dudes are actors, bro. You know. Look, man, the Lord Yahushua told you if you don't humble yourself as a little child, all right, you will no wise enter into the kingdom, man. A little child got a beautiful fucking spirit on him, man. You know, the Lord had what the hell's wrong with you, man? Little child, you over there reject. Look, if you don't humble yourself like this little child right here, you ain't entering into my rest, man. You know, Matthew 18:1. And at the same time, disciples came onto Yahushua saying, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" And Yahushua called the little onto him and said in the midst of them, "Very last say unto you, except you be converted, come back to the truth." Con with the vert, go back to the word veritas, meaning truth. Come back to the truth. All right. They got that on the Harvard insignia, veritas, truth, which them niggas teach nothing but lies up in there. But anyways, it says, and become as little children. Unless you become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whoso therefore shall humble himself as this little child right here, shall the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Who shall humble himself as this little child right here, man? And whosoever shall receive such a one little child in my name shall receive me. All right. So if you got this attitude, you got a stick stuck up your ass, man. You're not right in the spirit, man. Now everybody got their own spirit. Some brothers are more closed off. Some brothers are more transparent. You know, some brothers are more, whatever, man. You know, it's all balanced. But at the end of the day, man, you know what I'm saying, bro? Uh, uh, um, you got you gotta be a brother, man. You gotta be, a lot of you dudes ain't even cool. You know what I'm saying? You're not even cool. You ain't cool like that, man. You know, you get around these dudes, they don't want to they don't want to kick it with you. They don't want to kick it with you if you're an elder or you're an apostle. You know, fuck you. You ain't right. You know, what's wrong with you, man? You got signed an NDA to be around with you. What the fuck is that? This is why, bro. My goodness, man. damn devils. So I said Matthew 21, and see, they even took off all the comments, man. I can't even see all the comments. That's crazy. But anyways, whatever. Matthew 21 and 30. Father. All right, and they said unto him first, and Yahweh said unto them, verily I say unto you, that the publicans and the harlots go into the kingdom of the Most High before you. Why the Lord made that type of statement? Why the Lord made these type of statements, man? You know, why would he say these type of things, man? Hey, the harlots, the hoes, and the publicans, you know, dudes in the world, tax collectors. Why would they go into the kingdom of heaven? All right, before some of these overrighteous dudes, man. Some of these holier than thou dudes, you know, think they got the ticket to the kingdom already, you know, because they're part of some, you know, because they're part of a particular camp or whatever, you know, they associate with a brother or whatever, you know, they think they're already set. No, the Lord told you, verily I say unto you that the publicans and the harlots go into the kingdom of the Most High before you. For John came unto you in the way of righteousness, and ye believe him not, but the publicans and the harlots believed him. And when he had seen it, repented not afterward, that ye might believe. You know, so the publicans and the harlots, in other words, the Lord said, man, look, they're sincere. They actually believe. Some of these dudes don't even believe, man. They don't really believe like that. You know, they put on the front for the camera, man, but they don't even believe like that. Because if they believe they'll have the fruits of the spirit, they'll be a good brother. They'll have a bright fucking spirit on them, man. They'll have a bright countenance. They'll be lively stones, man. You meet them, scriptures tell you the countenance, man. You know, they have a bright fucking joyful spirit, man. You know what I'm saying, bro? A spirit of love, you know. A lot of these fucking dudes don't got that type of spirit, man. Got the spirit of an asshole and a dickhead, man. You know, the spirit of an Edomite, man. You know, got spirit of one of these old ass jakes, you know. They used to beat their wives type shit. You know, be fucking messed up to their kids. That type of shit, man. You can see it on them. Scriptures say become a new creature, man. You know, scriptures speak about becoming a new creature in Yahweh Shai, man. But that hasn't resonated with a lot of men, man. You know, even to this day, as we see. You know, as we see to this day, man. So that's why the scriptures tell you there are many called, but few are chosen, man. Because you got a lot of men with that fucked up spirit, man. All right, because really it all comes down to the spirit, man. It comes down to, you know, Lord looking at the inward man, you know. Because you could be a Jew is one that's a Jew. A Jew is a Jew that's one inwardly, man, not outwardly. Tell you Romans 2:28, man. Circumcision is that which not made by the hands, man. You got dudes rushing to get surgeries to chop their rod off. You don't have to do that, man. I remember being new in this thing, you know. I went to one of the brothers, and you know what I'm saying, instead of him telling me, bro, you know that through the spirit you don't have to do that through the spirit, you know, instead of him showing me the scriptures, you know, he's like, man, yeah, get the surgery, man, get the surgery. I'm like, brother, you don't have to do all that shit. You know what I mean? Instead of him looking out for me as a brother, you know what I mean? He had to go and chop your rod off, man. You know, chop the top of your shit off. You know, that's why they used to do it in the ancient world when you was a baby on the 8th day. You know, here it is now. You got to spend fucking $3,000-$4,000 on a surgery when the scriptures clearly tell you that it's all spiritual, man. Circumcision is that which is not made with the hands, man. You know. So at the end of the day, man, what does the scripture tell you about a dark spirit, man? You know, it will destroy him that hath it. A foul spirit. So you got men in this thing of ours with foul fucking spirits, man. Foul spirits, bro. and they haven't cleaned themselves up. And you can see by how they treat brothers, man. You know, scriptures tell you condescend to men of low estate. You know, why you dudes? You ain't that type of dude. You ain't that type of dude to condescend to men of low estate. You know, a brother is in need. You know, brother might be a little bit feeble, whatever, and shit. Scripture tell you about he that reproached the he that mocketh the poor reproach his maker, man. So matter of fact, let me see if I get this. He that have a okay, spirit destroyed them. Yeah, so at the end of the day, bro, you just gotta be cool, man. You know, I'm not saying that you're gonna be a dumbass and you gonna, you know what I'm saying, just open your door to everybody and lay hands on every man suddenly. You know, you're still gonna be circumspect, but at the end of the day, you're gonna use discernment, man, and the spirit. You know, you return and discern between him that serveth the Lord, him that serveth him not. I tell you Malachi 3 and what's that, the 18th verse, man. You know? So see, I think it's Sirach 14. Escapes the top of my head, man. Um okay, man. It says it's a good one too. Sirach 14 and 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasures in his own goods. There is no one worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his own wickedness. If he doeth good, he do it unwillingly, and at the last he would declare his wickedness. Okay. It says, the envious man have a wicked eye, and he turneth away his face and despise men. A covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked drieth up his soul. See, the scripture tell you, if he that believeth on me, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. What's that? John 7:38. Um, so the iniquity drive you do souls, man. Those of you that you act like you got a stick stuck up your ass, man. That's why you can't really teach like that. You're not flowing rivers of living water. You know, you're lukewarm, you're stagnant. You know, you gotta be a fucking tyrant and a bully to brothers. You know, and shit like that to keep them scared of you and shit like that. Oh, if you don't get around me, then you ain't gonna make it to the kingdom. Or, you know what I'm saying? Because you ain't yeah, all this fucking fear mongering shit that Jake does. You know, when at the end of the day, man, you don't even know if you're gonna be saved. That's why the Lord told you the harlots and the publicans going to the kingdom before you. You overrighteous dudes, man. You know, begin to beat the manservant. Scriptures tell you about beating the manservants, man. The evil servant saith in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming. Some of you dudes ain't believe that the Lord's coming back, man. You just secretly in the back of your head, you talking about, hey, the Lord's gonna come back in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Yeah, we're gonna be here in the long haul. Like the brother said, you acting for the camera, man. You know? Yeah, we're gonna be here for a long time, man. You know. But in one breath, you buying up houses and shit, you know, being some type of damn celebrity, you know, furthering your enterprise. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. You know. So let me see. Where's this at? Yeah, Luke 12 and 41. And then Peter said unto him, Lord, speakest thou this parable unto us, or even to all? And the Lord said, who is the faithful and wise steward on whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household to give them portion of meat in due season? It says, blessed that servant whom his Lord, when he comes, shall find so doing. and shall begin to beat the manservants and maids to eat and drink and be drunken, the Lord of that servant will come in the day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared himself, not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to whom men have committed much, of him will I ask the more. I come to send fire on the earth. What will I if it already be kindled? So the fire is kindled, man. The fire is kindled. The Lord is coming to send the final blows to this thing, man. Right. So, but the point being here in the 45th verse on down, right? My Lord, if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and begin to beat the manservants and maidservants to eat and drink and be drunken. All right. The type of man the Lord was, all right, he'd die for his men. All right. That type of man he was. All right. Beyond what they call cool. All right. Okay. That's why it's told you about being tenderhearted. You know, it told you about esteeming the things of others higher than yourselves. You know, which, like I said, a lot of these men in this thing of ours, you know, they know that they're Israelites and all that. They don't even practice that shit. You know, and practice to esteem each other highly in love. Tell you 1 Thessalonians 5 and 11, comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even so as you do also. But and we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor amongst you and are over you in the Lord and admonish you, and to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake, and be at peace amongst yourselves. Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient to all men. See that none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good, both amongst yourselves and to all men. All right. So esteem each other highly in love for the work's sake, be at peace amongst yourselves. You know. All right. Scripture tell you about condescending to men of low estate. Scripture tell you about, you know, being a brother, being, you know, being down to earth, man. At the end of the day, man. You know, you gotta get out that mindset, bro. The scripture tell you knowledge puffeth up, but charity edified. You know, just being, man. You know, just being a brother at the end of the day. You know, which that's not a sexy thing to talk about. You know what's sexy? Being contentious, you know, and doing all kind of, you know, fucked up shit to Jake. Gossiping is sexy, you know, to people, to Jakes, to the flesh. You know, that's sexy. You over there, you over there having debates and all that shit. That's what people like, man. That's what people like. They like watching you go at it with Jake. They like watching you debate Edomites and cut up Edomites, you know. But the simplicity in Yahweh Shai, that's not sexy. You know, the little things, man. The little things are not sexy. That's not deemed as something that's like, you know. But in the eyes of the Lord, it is something. In the eyes of the Lord, it is worthwhile, man. Right. So Sirach 27:5, the furnace proveth the potter's vessel, so the tribe of man is in his reasoning. All right. The fruit declareth if the tree have been dressed, so is the utterance of conceit in the heart of a man. And out the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. You know. So you shall know a tree by his fruit, man. Okay. You shall know a tree by his fruit. Every good tree bringeth forth fruit, you know. But every tree that bringeth forth not fruit is hewn down, cast to the fire. Tell you that Matthew 7, you know. So Romans 12 and 9, it says, let love be without dissimulation, abhor that which is evil, and cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affectionate one to another, and honor. It said, be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. Not slothful in business, fervent in the spirit. serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope and patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of the saints, given to hospitality. Giving the hospitality, man. Bless them which persecute you, and bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. And be of the same mind one towards another, mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. All right. So condescend to men of low estate, man. That means what? Being down to earth, man. Let me look at this word condescend to men of low estate. See this here. It's all about being down to earth at the end of the day. You know, mysteries are revealed. Tell you Sirach 3:18 to the lowly. Many are in high places right now. I think it's the 19:18 verse. Sirach 3 and 18. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself. 17. My son, go and I've been in with meekness, so shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord Yahweh Bashim Ashad. Many are in a high place and of renown, but mysteries are revealed unto the meek. For the power of the Lord is great, and he is honored to the lowly. So the word condescend, right? To men of low estate, not seeking the ruler's favor, you know, not being an ass kisser, you know, and the only like a hypergamous woman that she only gonna talk to a man that's in a she only gonna get a time of day to you if you a star. Are you some type of, you know what I'm saying, money maker, real rich dude, you know? That's why I tell you in Sirach, the 13th chapter, man, a rich man speak, every man exalted to the clouds. He had many friends, you know. But when a poor man speak, you know, they say, what fellow is this? Who the hell is this guy, man? The fuck is he talking about? That's the Lord. I tell you in Isaiah 9, man. I tell you Isaiah 9, all right? There's no beauty that we should desire him. You know, we esteemed him in nothing. That's why I tell you in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, the righteous man stand in great boldness, the 1st verse. Before the faces such has afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. That's a down to earth man. That's a man that's full of the spirit. That the majority of people reject. The majority of people, majority reject the world for that matter. So it says the word for condescend to men of low estate. Let's get this Romans 12:16. All right. At the end of the day, the point of the matter is, all right, you got a lot of dudes, man, that are just not full of the spirit of Yahushua, man. You know, they might know that they're Israel. That's why it says many are called, but few are chosen. They might know, might be able to regurgitate, like the apostle be saying, you know, might be able to copy and paste what men say, but the word is not really in them. Because how you know what I'm saying? It's all about how you act, man. How you deal, and a man meet you or whatever. What kind of spirit you got? What kind of integrity? You know, a lot of dudes talk about integrity. They talk a good game, but they ain't really like that, man. They ain't really like that, man. You know what I mean? They ain't really like that. So it's all about being like that. Really practicing what we preach. You know. All right. It's all about being real, man. All right. If we want to get beamed up, hey, we want to get saved, we actually gotta practice what we preach. You know. Like I said, a lot of these dudes in the world, bro, they'd be saved before some of you dudes. You think you've been in truth for a while, you know, and then they'll go into the kingdom before your ass, man, because you ain't right in the spirit, you know. You're worse off than they are, man. At least they're sincere, you know, and they actually believe in the Lord. They hear the word, you know, and they actually believe with a sincere heart. They got a good fucking spirit on them, man. You know, a righteous spirit on them. Okay. So the word for condescend.
Strong's G 4879. Sinapago.
Yeah, synagogue to yield or submit to oneself to a lowly thing, condition, employment, not to evade their power. Um, as to experience with others the force of that which carries away. All right, yeah. So the one we want here, to yield, submit oneself to lowly conditions, things, employments, not to evade their power. You might see a brother, he live in the hood. I ain't gonna man, I mean, or whatever. Not saying that you're gonna get a leeching off of men. You might see a brother, he's more feeble or whatever. He ain't really got that much that many shekels or whatever. He ain't, whatever it is, he ain't got no status. But there's some dudes, they ain't gonna mess with you because you ain't got no status, man. You ain't got no subscribers on your page. Some of these dudes, some of these guys, man, they just come around so they can be known and seen by other men and all this other shit. Yeah, bro, there's a lot of fucking weirdos, man. Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? Because you're not chosen, called, invited, right? Divinely selected, called. Yeah. Everybody that acknowledges that they're Israelites and that does the work, or whatever, or watches the videos, they're called, but are they chosen? That's the whole dilemma. That's the whole dilemma. Chosen. It says elect, picked out, chosen. Christians are called of God. The Messiah called as a most high Howell to the most exalted office conceivable. So this is by soundness of mind and meekness and all this. The meek shall inherit the earth. 55. Why is that? Why the Lord got to put meek men on the seat? Why he got to put men that have a heart? Why he can't just put you high, you proud dudes, you men of the world? Why he can't just put you up there, Because you're not going to wait. Your spirit is off. You're not going to be a fucking. You're not going to be unbiased. Judge, judge. So these are some reasons. These are some reasons, man. All right. So Matthew 21, as I said before, and what's that 31? It says actually 28. And what think a certain man first came and said, "Go, son, to work today." My parent, he answered and said, "Oh, not." But afterwards they went, and likewise said, I go, sir, and went not. Whether of them twain did the will of his father, they said unto him the first. Verily I say unto you that the publicans and the harlots go into the kingdom of the Most High before you. The giant came unto you in the way of righteousness, believed him not, but the publicans and harlots believed him, and ye had seen it, repented not afterward that ye might believe. So you got the 144,000, 1/3, and they have a particular spirit on. They're not all gonna be man. Right. Now the works of the flesh, Galatians 5 verse 18. If you be led of the Spirit, you're not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, right? It says, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, immolations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revilings, such as be the like. Of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith. Yeah. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Yahushai's have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vain glory and provoking one another, envying one another, man. All right. So yeah, man. The Harlots and Publicans going to the kingdom before some of these highly exalted, puffed up, proud dudes, that call themselves being in the truth, that call themselves being brothers and shit like that, man. So let's check ourselves through the Spirit. Scripture tell you 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine thyself whether thou be in the faith. Prove thyself, except thou be a reprobate. Except you humble yourself as this little child. Tell you Matthew 18:3-4 on down. You shall no wise enter into the kingdom, man. All right. So with that, call him like Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Harakakodash. All right, Barak, call Akim, man. And Wild Bubble Ball. Shalom.